Okay, we're going to finish up this first part of lesson 5.4 with this problem right here. Now, it's basically just going backwards from what we had before. So if we go backwards and go back to our formula, we'll be able to sort it out. So basically, they're giving you this. So it's sine, cosine, plus cosine, sine. And that is this right here, sine, cosine, cosine, sine. So that tells me that my A is pi over 12 and my B is pi over 4. And if I take those and I plug them back in there and there, I'll be able to work backwards to get my angle. So these are the reverse of what you were just working on. So if I applied the formula, I'd have that yellow part that's highlighted. But what you want to do now is just condense here and add these two together. Common denominator of 12. So it's just going backwards. And the sine of pi over 3 is radical 3 over 2. Okay, now how can I take these formulas here and match them up with what I have on my trig identity sheet? So let's take the sine ones first. So I'm just copying these down. Okay, so these two signs can be chunked together to make a plus or minus. And remember on your handout, on your identity sheet, they use U and V for the angles. I don't tend to use those very much because they look so similar. So that's why I switched it to A and B. But if you chunk these two formulas together, you'd have A plus or minus B, and then sine A cosine B plus or minus cosine A sine B. If I look at the cosine formulas, cosine A minus B is cosine A cosine B. Oops, let's do the positive one first. Minus sine A sine B, cosine A minus B, cosine A cosine B, plus sine A sine B. All right. If we go and look here, that's a plus or minus. But if we look here, that's a minus and a plus. So they're going to chunk these together as the cosine of A plus or minus B equals cosine of A minus plus sine A sine B. So that should clarify why, if you go back to your identity sheet, and let me go there with you real quick, why you see these signs the way they are. Now, if you're using your identity sheet, what you want to watch for is if you're finding, say, cosine of u plus, or let's do u minus v. U minus v, that minus is the lower sign here. So I'm going to use the lower sign on my formula. So just make sure you read the right sign. So if you want subtract for cosine, you have to use the lower sign here, which is addition. Okay. If you wanted to do sine of u plus v, then plus is the top sign, and I'm going to use the top sign there as well. And so on. So just pay attention to your signs. And and that should take you back here again. So you can either use your notes to help you get through these or the handout. I just wanted to clarify how the signs are working on your handout. All right. When I see you again, not actually see you, but when you watch my next video, we're going to work on tangent. So I'll show you where that formula comes from, and then we'll be applying the tangent sum and difference formulas.